automatic. Becky, great ball in. Ellen White for Manchester City.
Decent hit, wonderful goal. The first ever in a Manchester derby in FAWSL is an absolute blinder scored by Caroline Weir.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of MCW Fancast for this new upcoming season for 2021. My name's Emma. Thanks for listening. I can't believe we're back. It's been March. I think the last podcast we did was now in August. It's a bit crazy, really. Obviously, it's been a very difficult number of months for everyone. So I just wanted to start the podcast by saying thank you, really. Thank you to our frontline workers, and thank you also to the key workers and everyone in between. I think it's fair to say everyone's played their part during this pandemic, and as difficult as it's been, it's good to hopefully see that things are slowly returning back to normal, but in a very different kind of way. It's great to finally be back with the podcast. In all honesty, we hadn't planned to return until the end of August with the usual season preview, but with the recent arrival of Sam Mewis at the club and the FA's announcement of the Charity Shield fixture against, well, it's not a Charity Shield anymore, that's a bit old school. I always call it the Charity Shield, the Community Shield fixture against Chelsea at Wembley Stadium. We thought it would be a really good opportunity to get back to it. On this week's show, I am joined by special guest Mary Pruter. Mary is the president of the UPROAR, who are a North Carolina Courage supporters group, and one half of the Woso Show, formerly known as the NWSL Show, It's Not Soccer podcast. Hannah will be joining me as well. We'll be discussing the Mewis Move, pre-season and the Community Shield. But first, here is Sam Mewis talking about her move from North Carolina Courage to City, what attracted her to the club and her aspirations whilst here in Manchester.
Yeah, well, I think that coming to Man City, pandemic or not, is such a great opportunity. So I did hear about this a couple months ago and was, obviously curious what would happen with the NWSL for the rest of the year. But I think that playing overseas is something that's always interested me. And I do feel like the Challenge Cup was such a success for the NWSL that I just give them so much credit for pulling that off successfully. But for myself, this was just such a great opportunity and I didn't want to pass it up. And I can't really speak to anybody else's decision, but I know that the NWSL is still a great place to train and to play. And I think that the WSL will be as well. So I think for myself, it had a little bit of an impact just timing wise, but I'm just really happy and excited to be here. And it was a big opportunity either way. When I am going to be looking back on my career, I think that playing overseas is something that I have always wanted to do. And it's something that excites me. I feel like it, in general, I think it's going to add some depth and experience to my game. So thinking about that and thinking about the timing of when I might be able to play overseas, obviously Man City is an incredible club and I didn't even know I would get an opportunity like this. So when I first heard about it, my ears definitely perked up just because I know what an incredible club this is and what a great place to play. And I think that the WSL, I've heard really good things from some of my teammates on the national team who've played here before. So I'm just really excited. And I think that just being around this kind of culture and playing for such a great club is going to add to kind of what I have in my repertoire as a player. So I'm just excited for the opportunity. And I think Man City is like such a cool place to get to experience this. I'm here actually in Manchester, but I'm quarantining. So I've only met a few of them personally. Obviously I've played against a lot of them and a few of the girls have texted me just on WhatsApp so far, which has been nice to know that they know I'm here, but I haven't seen them yet or anything. So I'm really excited. I think that in my soccer career, the best part has always been the team and the girls. So I feel like that's the only thing that's missing so far. So I'm looking forward to being done with quarantine and getting to meet and play with them. Well, I know a bunch of the midfielders here that are just so talented. Kara Walsh being one of them. Jill Scott obviously being another. And I remember watching Caroline Weir during the World Cup and just thinking that she was such a great player, so smart and tactical. So, I'm going to have to earn some playing time. I know it's going to be really competitive and all the girls here are going to be so good. So I'm going to really have to perform well to make sure I can get out there on the field. And I think that I hope something that I could maybe bring is just my like attacking mindset. I feel like being from America, we play this really aggressive style, and I'm going to have a lot to learn here and a lot to adapt to, I think. But I hope that I can bring a little bit of that aggressiveness in going forward. That's something I feel like I have worked on a lot through the past couple of years with the teams I've been on. I think that there was a lot of uncertainty for such a long time in the States that it had crossed my mind, but I don't think I like actively was seeking anything out earlier this year. And my agent actually brought this up to me at some point over the summer. And like I said earlier, my ears just kind of perked up, I think, just because it's Man City and such a great club and such a great team. And I've heard such awesome things about playing in this league and the experience of playing overseas and how it's just like able to help develop your game in a new and different way. So I think that it was obviously like mutual interest, and I'm really fortunate and happy that it worked out, because I do think the timing for me is something that played into it, and it's something that I think is a key time for me to keep pushing, to keep developing and growing as a player. So I'm really just honored that Man City was interested and that they gave me this opportunity. So we're just really looking forward to taking advantage of it. Like, I love the Courage, and I hope to return there someday. It's been like an absolute honor and joy playing in the NWSL and playing for the Courage and being part of such a successful team. So it's not like I was searching to leave. I love it there, and I really hope that I have the opportunity to go back. But I do think that there was a part of me that was, when I heard about this opportunity, was really excited about the chance at doing something different and getting a little bit outside my comfort zone. I know with COVID happening, it's just kind of thrown a lot of twists and turns around for everybody. And obviously soccer and football is coming secondary to everybody's health and safety. But I thought that this season here in the WSL was a really good opportunity for me to continue to develop and push myself and grow. So it felt like the right decision and such a good opportunity. I didn't want to pass it up. There's obviously a lot of uncertainty. So, I mean, personally, I have been thinking about my family. I know my husband's going to try to come stay here for a little bit. But I think that my family's been overall really supportive, and obviously the club is taking really good care of me so far. So I'm confident that it will all work out really well, and I feel safe and like we're following all these protocols to keep everybody safe. So I feel like it's been really positive. We've had a lot of success at the Courage, and I've been really fortunate to be a part of such a talented team. I think that, like I have kind of said, like when I'm done with soccer and when I look back at my career, I have always wanted to play overseas. And I feel like on every soccer player's bucket list is to play in Champions League. And it is exciting. I mean, the possibility of winning something I've never won before, it's definitely an exciting challenge. And I'm just really honored that I have this opportunity to get to compete over here and play with new players. I think what really drew me here was this desire to continue to develop and to really try to push myself to keep growing and adding new skills and new depths to my game. So definitely competing for something new is an exciting part of that. Like, personally, I feel like I've worked, like, I'm kind of known for being aggressive and going forward and like maybe dribbling out of the midfield at speed. And I feel like that's a mentality piece that's I have like learned from my American club team and the national team. So I obviously haven't played with the girls here yet, and I don't know if that will be unique or different in any way, but I am hoping I can bring that kind of attacking, aggressive mindset. And I would really like to be productive and like get goals and assists and help the team really put away games. So I'm excited for the opportunity, and I know it's going to be tough to compete with the midfield here, and that I'm going to have to earn some playing time. But I do think that maybe the American qualities that I have in my game will help me to succeed here. Yeah, I talked to Coach Taylor a couple times before I decided, like, officially to come, and I thought that the way he spoke about what he wanted to do here was really exciting. And he seems like someone who could help me add some depth to my game. And we talked a little bit about specifics about that. So, and then once I decided to come, he reached out and congratulated me, and we've been on the phone a little bit, just talking again about a little bit of tactics and what he wants to do here and what my role might be. So I'm really excited to work with him, and I know that the girls really like him, and he's been at City for a long time. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity, and I think that it will be an exciting chance for me to grow and learn.
Hi Mary, it's really great to speak to you. I actually think you might possibly be the furthest guest that we've actually ever had on the podcast, so thank you for joining me. How are you doing? Are you okay?
I'm doing great.
Brilliant. So for those that might not know you, you're actually the president of the UPROAR supporters group there in North Carolina. Can you just tell us a little bit about the supporters group and your role within it?
Yep, like you said, I am the president of the UPROAR. We started the group last year. Dave and Patrick, two of our members in leadership, actually noticed that the stadium was kind of having a lack of, music, chanting and everything. The prior years when the Courage joined North Carolina, when they came to North Carolina, our men's supporters group, Oak City Supporters, was kind of running both for the men's and the women's, and it was like a bit difficult for them to kind of continue to do both, so they stepped back. And then Dave and Patrick stepped up in 2019. We were nameless, I think, for the first part of it. I think officially it was around June 13th that they started the group. I was on my way to the World Cup, so I missed the beginnings of it.
All right, yeah.
July 4th is when they officially launched the UPROAR as our name. And then at some point when I came back, I joined. One of my friends likes to joke that I don't do things casually. So I joined and immediately just began taking over. Not necessarily the chanting side. I don't actually even sit in the supporters group section. That's a terrible view of the game, and I don't like watching from the end zone. So, but I do a lot of the other things. Like I help with the tailgates, with trying to build partnerships throughout the community and everything. And then, like I said, I'm president. My vice president, the vice president of UPROAR is Jess. Patrick, one of the founders of the group, is on the board. Dave, the other founder, is treasurer. We also have Lisa on the board, and then our secretary is Carolyn. So we just kind of launched officially this past year, hoping to have a real season. Then COVID hit and kind of derailed all our plans.
Yeah, it's been obviously a bit of a whirlwind, really. You've just obviously participated in the Challenge Cup. Just tell us a little bit about, in terms of North Carolina, the sort of attendances and the fans that you get there.
They're probably like middling of the NWSL. So I'd say between 5,000 to 7,000 for the big games. Like, for instance, when Orlando comes, everybody wants to see Alex Morgan. So we turn out closer to capacity, probably 8,000-9,000 people. And then like our last season, we had the final in North Carolina, and we sold out that crowd.
So obviously massive news this week. Sam Mewis has finally signed for Man City. That it's been rumoured for some time now on a 1-year deal with the optional 1 year extra year to add on to that if she wishes, to play in the FAWSL here in the UK and Champions League football as well. It's been a move that's got a lot of high profile media coverage here in the UK and obviously there in America as well. But what's the news been like for Courage fans?
I mean, we're obviously devastated. We love Sam Mewis. We're sad to see her leave us. She's very important to our midfield, and but we're hopeful she'll return. She has said that if and when she comes back to the NWSL, she hopes that the Courage retains her right. She'd love to come back here, and so we're hopeful. We're hopeful she will return. Hopeful that she won't be gone too long. She's very loved. She's very loved in just amongst all Courage fans. Like, for instance, I took my nephew to a game last season, I believe, and the players will come sign autographs afterwards, and he's at that awkward age at 11 where he was just so shy and was like, we don't have to do it. And then like Sam Mewis just locked eyes with him and came over and was like, hey, what's your name, and just made him feel really good. And afterwards he's like, I have a new favorite player. So she's really great with the fans, both young and older. And we're glad that she'll get to be able to play. We will, I know I'll definitely make effort to get up to watch the games. And the US, we don't even know when this pandemic's going to get in check here. We've got a lot of things against us. We've got a government that maybe is not in the best position of, I don't know, but I think we're still a long way off. So I'm glad that you will be able to play.
Yeah, I mean, plenty of success at both clubs, like you say, with the Courage, and an international level as well. I mean, she's a player with that winning mentality. And what do you think City fans can expect from her in terms of what she could bring to the team?
I mean, I think you nailed it right there. She's got that winning mentality. She knows how to win. She's, even back to her college days, UCLA, she won the national championship there. U.S. women's national team. I don't think we need to go into details of how dominant they are in the national stage. And then just the courage, the first year they were here, we won the Shield and we lost the championship in a very ugly match. But at the end of that game, there's video footage where they interviewed her, and she was just so clearly upset, and she was like, we're going to come back better. And, they did. That following year, the Courage had a near perfect season with only one loss that season. Sam is very, integral to that success. She's also a hard worker. You can tell she loves the game. She's got a high work rate. Everybody on the Courage does. And she's just fun to watch, just fun to watch on the field and even off the field, just watching her celebration videos. So, I mean,
it's so strange for us because I think when her name started getting mentioned for, coming to City, everyone was like, wow, really? Is this the type of player that we can, bring over to City? And it kind of felt like a bit as if it was too much to ask, you know what I mean? Because she's a player of such high regard, and she's got so much caliber and honours behind her, and that kind of thing. I mean, obviously you know that probably you might remember Kylie Lloyd coming over to City as well, and even that was like, wow, Kylie Lloyd, it brought fans to the stadium, and it kind of feels that hopefully we can get into a position where fans will be able to get back into the grounds and come and watch her play as well. And I think, like you said, it will bring certainly a lot more fans through the turnstiles that perhaps haven't maybe seen or been to a women's game before. That's the kind of hope. You mentioned your attendances. Ours, our average sort of attendance was 2,000 to 3,000 last season. So, we'd certainly like to see more fans through the turnstiles. And if we can do that, Sam Mewis is the type of player that can bring, someone to just come and watch her for the quality football that she plays and that she could bring to the squad as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what type of a player is Sam? Because obviously you've watched her, play a lot of minutes for Courage. What can fans that might not know that much about her or haven't seen that much of her style of play, what can they expect from her on the pitch?
She's not afraid to go for it. I think she's confident in her play, and her height definitely helps with as a target of set pieces.
Yeah, 6 foot is she?
I'm not entirely sure. That sounds about right. She's definitely tall. She's definitely very tall. And then, I just pulled some stats from the 2019 World Cup. I'd read an article that said that she was, stat-wise, the best player of the entire 2019 World Cup tournament. She had 43 recoveries, second only to Crystal Dunn. And obviously, Crystal Dunn played several less minutes than her, probably almost a game. So, I think it was 70 minutes or so. She had 38 defensive actions. So she's a good defensive player as far as aerial dominance. She had 31 aerial challenges. 23 of them winning. She won 23 of them, so that's at 74%. 15% were offensive, 16 were in an attempt to win the ball back. So she's just all around a great player, fun to watch, and I think you guys will enjoy having her.
Yeah, we can't wait now. I put on Twitter the other day, like it felt like a dream, but it actually did happen. Just so you know, it was just, honestly, I'm just so excited. Last season was a difficult season for us. Obviously, it ended early because of the pandemic. The season was decided on points per game sort of average, and we lost out the title to Chelsea. As you know, because you've got a bit of a soft spot for Chelsea, you told me. So, that was quite difficult. And we've still got the FA Cup to play, which is great. That's a prestigious tournament here in the UK. And hopefully Sam will play a part of that. Champions League football as well. That's quite an exciting prospect for her, perhaps, because, it's an opportunity to play in a different tournament, to get some experience in a different league and, a different style of play, if you like, because I think American football, it can be quite, how do you explain like American football for those that don't watch it, if you're comparing it?
I would say it's probably, it's a lot more about athleticism, there's a lot of focus on being super fit, and a lot of how we win and is just that nonstop ability to keep coming at you. We may not play the most beautiful game, but we will play an effective game.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
And I definitely agree. I think going out there will definitely help our game. There have been several players, as you mentioned, that have gone to the FA League and even other international leagues, and they just come back with a whole, like I said, our focus tends to be on fitness and just being able to experience and kind of round out your game will be great for her, I think.
Yeah, I mean, City play quite a patient build-up style of football, quite different to perhaps what the Courage do play. But Sam is the type of player that can adapt, given her experience and those big games that she's played in. Hopefully we'll see her play lots of minutes for City. I mean, it's certainly an exciting prospect. For me, my point of view, obviously there was a lot of talk at the beginning that it was going to be a short-term loan. The fact that she signed for a year quite surprised me. I don't know about you.
I mean, yeah, we're devastated. We don't like hearing any of these words.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, it is quite interesting. Like you said, there's been a few other players that have been, rumoured to be making the move over here to the UK and Europe as well. How do you feel about that? I mean, would you like to obviously see the NWSL pick up? I mean, obviously the season has been cancelled, but there's been talk of perhaps some friendlies coming in with the Western and Eastern sort of divide, another tournament possibly following on from the success of the Challenge Cup. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Challenge Cup was a great success. I think outside of the issues with Orlando beforehand, once they got in the bubble, no COVID cases, they managed to have the tournament just go successfully. Everything was great, and I thought that was awesome. It was great to be able to watch. We've all just been starving for football, soccer here. So I think my top priority would be just making sure that the health and safety of the players are looked after. I know I wouldn't attend a game right now, and I've talked to a lot of people who also wouldn't attend a game right now. There's just, it's hard to enforce any sort of rules here. People do what they want at the end of the day, and I've already got COVID this year, and I've done, everything right. I've stayed home. I've worn a mask when I do go out. I slather on the hand sanitizer, and I still couldn't keep my roommate from bringing it home, So I think just making sure everyone is healthy, is safe, if they can do that, then yeah, I would love to see more games. But if they can't, I'm fine with that. I don't want my enjoyment of entertainment to be preferential to the health and safety of other people.
Yeah. I think Obviously, it's been a number of months now since, you know, all this began, and, you know, the lockdown came in and sports got suspended and things like that across the country, across the world. And, you know, I think first and foremost, you know, we've said it before on the podcast that, you know, that health and safety is paramount, not just of the fans, but the staff as well, the staff, the players, and everyone involved at the club. You know, it's great to be in a position where we're talking about welcoming football back. We haven't got a decision on when fans will be able to go into the stadiums yet. It's hard to talk about because you feel like it's so speculative. It was obviously great, like you said, to touch upon the Challenge Cup. I mean, for us here in the UK, I know there are a lot of women's fans in particular that enjoyed that tournament. I was one of them, you know, staying up, like you say, 4 o'clock in the morning. It takes some stamina when you've got work the next day. But, you know, it was a great tournament. It was a successful tournament, like you said. I mean, do you think American fans of women's football, do you think that they will take the WSL in their arms as well? And do you think a lot of American fans will take more of an interest?
I think so. I mean, definitely the fans that I know, I think we're, like I said, starved for soccer here. You know, it's been months. Our season was supposed to start in April. We did get the Challenge Cup, which was definitely a treat for us, but definitely shortened than what we're used to. You know, usually the tournament was supposed to run, not the tournament, the season was supposed to run through like October, I believe. Yeah. So I downloaded the FA Player as soon as it became available. So I've had that already for a while. I know at least several of my friends have already been watching where they can. You know, like I said, it's an early morning. Not everybody's a morning person. Sometimes I would cut it on and fall right back asleep with it in the background.
It's harder if you're not a coffee drinker, I think.
Yeah. So I think it'll definitely convert some people. I know in our Slack channel we've got a membership Slack channel where we're already trying to figure out how we can watch the Championship League games. Like, you know, there's no real stream here. I know sometimes some of the clubs will locally stream on their Facebook pages. So, you know, I think, yeah, for sure. I think people definitely try to watch. I think especially having our players go overseas, especially Sam Mewis, you know, we want to see her. We want to see what she's doing over there. We want to wheel her back this direction as soon as possible.
Yeah. I mean, she's offered a lot of longevity at Courage, and, you know, she seems really keen, you know, from the interviews and what I've read to return back to the Courage. Like you said, they want to keep her rights as a player. So, you know, it is promising, but I think it can only benefit both of us, you know, in the fact that, you know, we're going to get, you know, a world-class player who's got that winning mentality that, you know, perhaps will be of a great benefit to the locker room, to the changing room for us, you know, and then that sort of, you know, the facilities and, you know, how she can grow and develop her own game that obviously she'll hopefully bring back to the Courage as well, and sort of pass some of the experiences back that she's had onto the team for you.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, I think one of the things we thought of immediately was like, what if there's an ICC? Is she going to be playing for them?
Right. Yeah.
You know, so, but yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for her. It's what she wants to do. And obviously she should be able to do what she wants to do. She is a world-class player, and anything that she can do to keep growing as a player. You know, soccer players only have a certain amount of time for the most part, and I think she'll probably be one of the players that plays longer than most get to. So any kind of development, any kind of experiences they can gain, then, you know, I'm glad she's taking it, you know.
Yeah.
And
so you're a bit of a Chelsea fan. But I mean, how do you feel, because obviously Chelsea won the league last season, how do you think the league might play out this season?
You know, obviously I'm pulling for Chelsea again.
I'm gonna end the call.
So, you know, I'm a big fan of Magda Eriksson and just the whole team over there. And, you know, Crystal Dunn was out there for a while too.
Yeah, she was Chelsea player, wasn't she, for it?
Yeah, and that's kind of where my interest started in Chelsea. Yeah. So,
to be honest, I thought watching the Challenge Cup, Crystal Dunn, I thought she played excellent, and Lynn Winninghams as well really impressed me. Yeah. Really.
we have a great team. I think we'll miss Sam Mewis, but it's not going to be detrimental to our game. I think we'll be all right. I think we'll build somebody in there. You know, there's somebody that plays opposite of Sam Mewis in practice, so they'll be able to kind of hop in, and you know, they won't have the same experience. They maybe don't have her level of play, but I think our team is truly a team. You know, there's not really one player that you can say this whole team is this team because of this player. This whole team is this team because of the entirety of the team and the culture behind it. So I think we'll be okay. We'll miss her, you know, just like we've missed many. You know, McCall left us this year for Sky Blue. We've lost other players in the past, but I still think it's a very, very tight team.
Yeah, quite strong.
Yeah.
Well, it's been brilliant talking to you. Thank you for your time. Like I said, it's so great to speak to you, to hear your thoughts on the move, because we always like to speak to other fans as well. So the fact that this has obviously gone a little bit global is great, and it's been really nice to speak to you. So maybe, hopefully, you know, we can catch up and get your thoughts on how you think Sam's doing and how she's settling in.
Yeah, it's definitely been a pleasure. Thank you for having me on, and I will be watching as much as I can.
What are your social medias, just so fans who might want to, you know, check you out and give you a follow on Twitter and stuff?
Yeah, on Twitter we are UPROAR NC, and same for Instagram. And then on Facebook, if you just look up UPROAR Supporters Group, you'll find us. We have both a private group, which is where we're probably more active in, and then we have a front-facing group, so we can have events and stuff out that way. So yeah, and one of these days we'll get the website up. If anyone's interested in becoming an UPROAR member, we also have that available. We'll send you a scarf and a few other pieces, and that you can find at memberships.uproar.com.
That's brilliant. So yeah, hopefully we can catch up again soon. And like I said, it's been great speaking to you, Mary. So thank you for your time, and hopefully speak to you soon.
Yeah, I'd love that. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on the podcast. I mean, this is the first time you've joined us on MCW Fancast, so thank you for that. How are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to come and chat to you.
Yeah, how's things for you? How's things been in lockdown? Are you okay?
They've been all right, you know. Yeah, they've been all right. We're getting there. I think it was nice for a couple of weeks to have the football back.
Yeah.
Like, I was just watching every single possible game I could, and then the Premier League finished. Yeah. So, yeah.
Have you caught up with your sleep yet?
Just about. I've just about got my sleep pattern back to normal, I think.
So obviously big news this week that's now been confirmed that Sam Mewis has signed for City on a 1-year deal with an optional added extra year as well, which is quite surprising, actually. I don't know what you made of that, but it was strongly rumoured, and now it's done. She's currently in quarantine and looking to join the squad in the next week or so. What do you think of the news?
I still don't believe it's real. Like, I am absolutely pumped, first of all. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so excited. It's one of those things where, like, it's a rumour that you think is never going to happen. I feel like it's, for me, in like men's football, I'd be like, yeah, Messi's joining the team. I'd be like, nah, no, he's not. No, he's not. Absolutely no way.
Yeah.
But like, I'm so happy that Sam Mewis has joined. I think she's like such a brilliant player. I think she's really underrated in America, and I think actually it'll be really nice for fans in England and actually in Europe, like, to see her potential outside of the US women's national team, which has so many other kind of huge players both on and off the field that she can often fall under the radar. She comes with some great accolades behind her. Yeah, I'm absolutely buzzing.
Huge accolades. I mean, World Cup winner. You know, she's won so many club honours as well. I mean, initially when her name was first announced as a possible rumour, I mean, what did you think of that?
I think I just was like, yeah, okay, we were probably going to see these rumours after the Challenge Cup. Like, Helen and I had spoken about it off air, and we were like, oh, you know, it might happen, but it probably won't.
Yeah.
I won't come over to Europe. Probably won't happen. I can dream that we're going to have US women's national team players play for us at the Academy Stadium, but no. And yeah, like, amazing that it's actually happened. I was just so excited now for the season to kick off and for her to come and join us.
Yeah. Do you think with obviously a name like Mewis, do you think that's going to bring, you know, fans that perhaps haven't been to the academy before and, you know, that just want to come and watch her play?
I would like to think so. I think she's maybe one of the lesser known players from the national team. I don't know. I know when Carly Lloyd came and played for us, obviously she was probably a bigger name, in my opinion. So I hope it brings a new fan base to the stadium. I think the big thing will be fans from America. I would like to think that actually a lot more people are tuning in to watch games from abroad, and that will kind of build the fan base from that perspective as well, which I'm excited to see there.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously you're a big NWSL fan. God, I can't even say it. NWSL fan as well. So obviously just mentioned that you've been watching the Challenge Cup, you know, so you know Mewis as a player. What kind of things do you think she'd bring to City with the kind of stature and ability that she's got?
I think she's got a really attacking mindset. I think she will just bring such a different dynamic to the team. The NWSL is quite a different style of play. I think it's quite aggressive, and so it'll be really interesting to see how she incorporates that into the game over here. You know, does she bring that to the team, or actually is it something she has to rethink herself? And as well, like, she's worked with some of the most successful managers in the game, and I don't think we can not acknowledge that. You know, Paul Riley, who has been her manager for the last couple of years in America, they've won 3 championships in America over the last 4 or 5 years. Jill Ellis at the US women's national team, obviously she was a big name who we thought would get the England job. They themselves will bring so much to her as a player that I think she'll no doubt bring to City. I
mean, in terms of midfield, we're looking strong this season. Like, so strong, it's unbelievable.
We could field, like, Ellie Roebuck, she's always going to have a place in my starting 11. Yeah. But then we could field 10 amazing midfielders, it feels like. Like, we've just got such a strong midfield. So good. Yeah,
I mean, you sort of touched on there upon the style of play that obviously differs from the WSL to the NWSL. I mean, how do you think she'll adapt? Do you think it might take some time, or do you think she's going to rise to the challenge?
I think it's a really good question. I think, you know, even the fact that she's been in a 14-day quarantine when she's come to the UK, she will join the team late August, so maybe in a week's time or so. By that point, you know, the first week of September, we've got the opening weekend of fixtures. It's a quick turnaround. I think I'm not expecting her to come into the squad straight away. I think that's cool. The nice thing is it's not just a short-term loan for her. I think she'll gradually find a place, and I think she's, from what I've seen online as well in interviews, she's really keen to, like, prove herself and not just walk into the squad, which I think is really nice and humbling. I would like to think that as a player, she just wants to learn as much as possible here. So I hope that she'll adapt well. She'll be really open to it as well. And I think, yeah, it'll take her a little bit of time, but, you know, she's a professional, confident that she'll really fit in over the next couple of months.
And there's been quite a few rumours, really, in terms of sort of NWSL players that are possibly looking for that transfer, that short loan spell over here in the UK and Europe. I mean, you know, we've had Fishlock mentioned, I think, to Reading.
Yep.
Bailey, United. Well, I think, to be honest, I think that's more United fans wanting to go to United, to be fair. But, I mean, do you think we're going to see more of that? I mean, Rose Lavelle as well. I mean, that was a rumour, strong rumour, but there seems to be more complications involved with that one.
Yeah, 100%. I think Rose Lavelle's is, like, from an injury point of view, they're not sure whether they want to rest her to allow her to fully recover or not. I'd love to see her at City because I think she's wicked as well. I think we're going to see so many transfers, whether it's short-term loans. I mean, even like coming across to Europe, we've seen Jodie Taylor go to Lyon. I kind of can't really...
Proper bedded in there already as well. We go.
And a trophy within
not bad in like the first 2 weeks.
Talk about fitting right in there. Right? I think there's a couple of factors. If I was an American player, I'd be wanting to come over and play. First off, we've got the Olympics coming up next year. Like if the NWSL doesn't have any games before the end of 2020, how many more months are they going to be out of game time for? I think their national teams will be wanting them to get game time. You can train as much as you want. You can have like 5-a-side, you can have scrimmages, but I think unless you put players into that actual environment of competitive fixtures, it's really, really hard to replicate. And as well, like, America's not in the best way at the minute. Trump's not doing a solid job, is he? I think if I was a player and I had the opportunity to go elsewhere in the world right now, I'd maybe consider that. And as well, like, when you look at the NWSL's contracts for the US women's national team players, just for a little bit of context, there are so many stipulations around their contracts that kind of forces them to play in the NWSL. We were lucky a couple of years ago when they rejigged their agreement with the league and the national team that, you know, Carly Lloyd, Crystal Dunn, Heather O'Reilly, etc., were all playing over here in the UK already, so it didn't really affect them. But since then, we've always not really been able to have American players come over to Europe effectively because the US women's national team said they couldn't because of the NWSL. So for any player who has ever wanted to play in the Champions League, to develop to and experience a different league, but still maintain that spot on the national team, now is that unique opportunity for them to do so. So no doubt so many will want to jump at the chance. So I love it. Like, the ability for me to be able to go and see them without having to travel across the world is sick. And I'm so looking forward to that.
It's so true. I mean, do you think that the WSL is attractive enough for those players, you know, with the type of players that have obviously been coming over with the likes of Kerr and, you know, do you think that it is sort of like take the opportunity and make the most of the situation?
Yeah, I think I was really surprised to see Sam Mewis like sign for us. I thought she'd just come on a short-term loan, I'll be honest.
I did.
Like that in itself is quite a good indication. I think salary, you know, there's not a salary cap, or if there is, it seems to differ so much in comparison to the NWSL, particularly when we look at Sam Kerr. From what I've seen online, she's on a lot more money here than she was in America. It's a longer season, so they're getting more game time. It's really competitive. And again, like Champions League, I think is such a huge thing for the players to come from, you know, a 9-team league and have no sort of cup or anything in a traditional season and have massive travel from one side of America to the other, to then actually playing in the UK. You've got the Conti Cup, you've got the FA Cup, you've got the Champions League. It's wicked. Yeah,
definitely. We've already had a couple of games in pre-season. We've had 2 wins. Mewis obviously not playing a part of those, but new signing Chloe Kelly has, and she seems to have hit the ground running already. I think it's like 3 goals, 2 games. She's been assisting as well.
Yeah,
11 goals across both games against Coventry and Sheffield, and no goals conceded. I mean, is that a good sort of indication of where we're at in terms of getting ready for the season, with obviously the length of time that, you know, we've been out and the teams and players have been away from each other?
Yeah, I don't think we can ask for much more right now. I think it's such a weird time, but the team have responded like phenomenally, even with the fact we've got a new manager. Like, I think I very quickly forget the fact that the last game I went and saw was us playing against Chelsea. I don't even remember when it was that long ago. And we had Alan Mahone in, and there's so many different things that are unsettling for the club, but so excited to see Chloe Kelly coming in, hitting the ground running. So looking forward to seeing her and Ellen White partner up. Yeah, I think we're in a really strong place, and I cannot wait to see us lift the league.
Yes, I totally think we are going to do it this season. I think as well, you said there, you know, potentially, you know, City, it could have been a bit of an upset, really, you know, losing Nick, Alan coming in, taking the reins obviously to the end of the season, or as it was concluded. It doesn't seem to have really, you know, they've been that professional and just been able to get through it, that it, you know, because I think we've got such a strong setup behind the scenes, that it's almost as if, there was little disruption, there was a little upset there, and they've just got on with it basically. And Gareth has obviously got his ideas that he wants to instill on the team, but so far so good. It'd be great to obviously see what ideas he does have in mind, but it is really good to see, like you say, Chloe and Ellen with that up top partnership with with obviously Pauline leaving us at the end of the season. It was sort of, well, what we're going to do kind of thing, because obviously Pauline was contributing a lot of goals for us last season, so it's great to see that she seems to have started contributing for us already.
Yeah, I think at the time I was really sad to see Bremer go. Like, as you were saying, she was plagued by injury a little bit, but had a massive impact for us. And I kind of thought, how are we going to do? Like, how is our formation going to change? Even the fact that Georgia Stanway had a little stint at right back.
Yeah.
Like, how would that affect it? All the madness last year, wasn't it? But yeah, Chloe Kelly, and she's a player of the future as well, right? That's what I think one of the things I'm most excited about is she's just going to go from strength to strength because she's so young. Great to see people like Aoife Mannion coming back in as well. She seems to be doing really well with her recovery, so hopefully we get to see her early on in the season. I could not be happier with the start, I'll be honest. Yeah.
Announced last week as well that Community Shield, first time since 2008, so that's going to be a massive curtain raiser, if you like, for the start of the season. I think it's 29th of August, 12:30 kickoff, BBC One. So even though the fans can't be there, it's great that obviously it is sort of prime time and everyone will be able to watch it kind of thing as well. But the head-to-head, Chelsea, I mean, if it's anything like last season. But do you think City could win this one this time around?
Yes. Yep, because I couldn't not say yes. I would be so disappointed if I didn't believe in us. No, in all seriousness, I think we've made a couple of really key signings. I think we could absolutely do it. Like, how close fought was that game when we played against Chelsea? It was incredible, wild, absolutely wild. Like, I still have flashbacks to it. But yeah, I think we've got it in us to do it, absolutely.
And are you looking forward to the start of the season now? Because obviously there's been a bit of hype and everyone's sort of like starting to get into the mood for it now. Yep. What are your expectations this season?
I think we need to be pushing for top position without a shadow of a doubt. I think we're capable of it. I think Champions League is going to be a big one. The last couple of years we have fallen at the same hurdle to the same team. Yeah. But I would love to see the introduction of those additional players like Sam Mewis, like Chloe Kelly, just give us that edge and actually take it further. I think Chelsea will come in really strong, I'll be honest. And I think as well, like Arsenal have made some good signings, but we have got the capabilities without a shadow of a doubt. New manager, freshen things up. So I'd want top spot. And I say we go for the Champions League as well. Yeah.
I think they definitely will do this season. I think it'll be, they were so disappointed, especially last season, and I think it's top of the agenda. Definitely a good run in the Champions League this season. We need to do it, and we can. We've got the quality to do it, so there's no excuses.
Absolutely, and I just can't wait to get back in the stadium.
Oh, hopefully. I was expecting some news on that today, but obviously still not been announced yet. But there are talks that obviously the WSL will be used as trial events, so it is positive, moving forward, isn't it, for fans?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's a completely safe environment. I think they can make it work, and I'm confident actually if any club would, City, because I think they've always got the fans at kind of the forefront of their minds as well. So hopefully, we're having the next conversation in the stadium.
Yeah, definitely. So how are you obviously you've just done the NWSL show, you've covered the Challenge Cup. So what are you going to be doing this season then? You're still with Helen? Are you working on a new podcast for the new season? Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so after a wild and sleep-deprived month, crazy, absolutely crackers, covering the NWSL Challenge Cup, we are launching a new series at the start of September. So we've rebranded. Hopefully it's the last one for a while, because I can't keep track. I don't know what we're called. I have to have it written on a little sticky note. So we're now the women's soccer show, and we are branching out a little bit into world soccer, or football, should I say? God, look what I've become calling it soccer.
Too many months of just talking about it in America, but I really enjoyed it, to be honest. I mean, it was great to obviously come on the show as well, but I enjoyed the Challenge Cup, and it's great, like you said, that you can bring fans in the UK more of a global kind of overview as what's going on across the globe.
Yeah, that's it. Just share those stories of untold soccer. I think that's the goal for us. Yeah, so plenty more to come for us.
Brilliant. So if anyone's interested in the podcast and finding out where you are, can you just give us your socials and where to find you?
Of course. So you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at the Woso Show. And we are also available on all good podcasting applications and websites by searching for the Women's Soccer Show.
Brilliant. Well, it's been brilliant to catch up, Hannah, and hopefully we can do this more often for the rest of the season, because obviously you're a bit of a City fan, so we can hopefully catch up in the stadium. You know, that'd be awesome, and get a chat before one of the games, hopefully. But definitely it'd be great to speak to you for the podcast in the future, and hopefully, like you said, we can have a really good season and get some silverware.
Let's do it. Thank you so much for having me, Emma. Cheers.
Nice one. See you soon. And that's it for this week's episode of MCW Fancast. Hope you've enjoyed it. Many thanks to Hannah and Mary for joining me on this week's show. Really hope you've enjoyed it too. We'll be back on the 28th of August. We'll be doing our season preview with the OFC ahead of the Charity Shield, the Community Shield. I really need to stop calling it the Charity Shield. So if you're not already, make sure you're following us on social media. We're on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, and you can find us by searching MCW Fancast. And we'll be back soon. Stay safe, everyone.